Hello everyone, welcome to another game of StarCraft. How lovely. It's a new best of 3, this time a Terran versus Terran from the ESL Open Cup, the Korean Open Cup to be specific. Let's get that scoreboard up and get into the game on Glittering Ashes. Top right for Storm, he is GuMiho. And in the bottom left, we have the blue Terran for Shopify Rebellion. It is Byun. Byun being quite the fan favorite. You guys have been requesting more of him on the YouTube channel, so here it is. And I am more than happy to bring on more Byun. He is a very fun player to watch. There is a reason he's a fan favorite, and he's about as strong as he's ever been. I say about because, of course, he used to be a global championship winner. Then, you know, a little bit of the downtrend, which makes sense. There's only so many times you can truly peak, and then went to the military. Well, he's been back for a while. He is back to, once again, being a definitely a contender in the global finals. That's why we're going to see him at Katowice. See how far he can get, though. On the other hand, we do have GuMiho. So I saw Byun, figured that'd be fun. It rhymes as well. I also saw that GuMiho was in the mix, and I do love casting some GuMiho. Finding the proxy. Get a little surprise face, I think. I think this is supposed to be a face, or it looks kind of like a, I guess it's like the Korean equivalent of doing this. There we go. For all the people who use chat speak. just like I used to. So this is actually one of the worst case scenarios for Byun, and that is what he can't exactly send another SCV to go finish this, but it's not so early on in the barracks development that canceling it is kind of a no big deal situation. You know, the barracks is only 5 seconds from, it's only 5 seconds in to building, then canceling it's not that big of a deal. It is, of course, awkward. It's not the build order you intended, but canceling it when it's 75% done, yeah, that is so much more awkward. The real good news for Byun is that it wasn't his only barracks. He had one back at home. He was going to do a 2 racks that really wasn't all that committed. Now, this is fantastic news for GuMiho, not just because he messed up Byun's build, but because he's now able to get away with a 1 racks expand. So he was actually doing a very dangerous build in TvT, 1 racks expand, while feasible. That you do get away with it, especially if you do an SED scout and make sure they're not proxying you. It still makes things more difficult if they are doing some type of proxy or some type of early game attack. So the fact that he was able to scout the barracks, know that he had basically 100% denied it, means that he just kind of calmly took his 1 racks expand, no problem. Looks like I still have my game settings on. Playing some last-second StarCraft before I head out to Poland, so sorry about that, but let's get back into it. So the Hellion follow-up here is a couple of things for Byun, which I'll get into a second. 2 Reapers come in, going to actually cause a lot of trouble, and this is part of the reason that I was going to get into, is that the Hellion follow-up could actually really help Byun against a couple of things that GuMiho could have been doing. So Byun doesn't scout because he was going to do a 2 racks opener that really puts him in the attacking position. Even if GuMiho's plan was a factory expand into 3 Reapers, the 2 racks Reapers would hit first. Ooh, a little bit awkward here. Is GuMiho's Reaper going to get out? Ooh, just barely. But anyways, so you don't have to necessarily scout with Byun's build, but then if it does fail, if it doesn't get scouting by being aggressive, which Byun could not do, then you really got to be wary of what could have been on the other side of the map. So you don't know if it was a 1 racks expand or factory expand, or maybe all the way up to a 1-1-1 of the starport on 1 face. And then if it was a factory expand, is it a 5 Hellion 3 Reaper attack? Reverse that. 5 Reaper, 3 Hellion attack. There you go. Just all these question marks, right? But one thing that does cover that kind of early game conundrum of how many Reapers, how many Hellions, is a reactored Hellion build. You're just going to have more better units in that particular phase of the game. Now, as the game goes on, these Hellions look far more useless. In fact, they're already pretty much past their prime. They did help technically against the little 2 Reaper hit squad that GuMiho had accumulated. Not really trying to do much with those 2 Reapers though, so it's not a problem that they were denied. And then there's not much else that GuMiho is planning on doing. So at the end of the day, he gets ahead with the 1 Rax expand because he gets away with it. He gets up 9 workers since nothing else has gone wrong for him, and everything, oh my god, has gone wrong for Byun. Byun even lost a couple of SCVs to the Reapers. Now he's very close to losing his Raven, which is really hoping that it was probably more of a Raven first, Raven second, then Viking opener from GuMiho. So the fact that it's already a Viking is a little bit of a shame. I don't actually, I know some Korean, but pretty much none. Let's just put it that way. So I don't know, but I do know that this is laughing. If you guys haven't picked up on that already, kuku. So why does GuMiho have a Viking? Actually, it's kind of a interesting question that I know the answer to. Byun really is the type of Terran in TvT to go for medevac openers. You know, sure, also Raven harassment is popular, and I'm sure some people out there really love the idea of denying any form of Raven harassment, but a lot of people would also say that it's not really necessary, and it cuts into your own Raven count, right? And Ravens are still very useful. So usually, if you do see Vikings, it's Raven, Raven, then Viking on the reactor. GuMiho, I think, was specifically thinking of a Byun medevac follow-up, in which one single Viking early on would do a great job of shutting it down. The Viking, in this case, did not shut down the Raven. It did shut down the harassment at the very least. Means that GuMiho has really not had to worry in this game since he found the proxy barracks. So even though he doesn't have his own 3 Ravens, he just has the 1, he should very soon get a big power spike in his army supply, right? He's had the economic lead for quite some time. He has the faster production, the faster upgrades. As far as the 1-1 goes anyways, Stim's actually going to be even between the two. But it's not hit yet. So very soon, he's going to have not just 6 more Marines, but 12 more Marines. He's going to maybe actually have even like 24 Marines, right? It's going to be pretty quick. 3 barracks have finished for Byun, but only just now getting on top of that reactor, and we're getting to that point where the number of Marines actually contributes to a fight. Early on in TvT, it is so much more tech-dependent, the big, bad, but small number of units, like tanks and Ravens and Vikings. But if you can get to enough Marines, then a concave of Marines is a beautiful thing to have. So that's kind of the issue right now. Byun knows what to be concerned about. He has the advantage if he's sieged, if his Ravens are paying attention. GuMiho has the advantage if he gets some type of surround or concave. Now this isn't exactly that, so I don't know if GuMiho really wanted to take the fight. Yeah, I think he was so eager to outmaneuver Byun that in a way he got kind of outmaneuvered. There's only one pathway through here. The other pathway was right into the army, which wasn't exactly ideal, so this little choke meant that GuMiho was kind of locked into his decision, even if it wasn't the right one. And now this has gotten a little bit topsy-turvy. Ravens are going to go down. The Marine count, fortunately for GuMiho, looks to trickle in at just enough with the help of a Viking, with the help of a couple of SCVs to actually clean this up. And thankfully, GuMiho's Marine hit squad was able to mostly equalize the SCV damage. The real problem at this point is that Byun had such a slower buildup on his army. He still doesn't have the same buildup. His second and third barracks were later, his 4th and 5th barracks were later, so he has not been able to pump out nearly as many Marines. Starport production, tank production, that's still equalized. Even the SCV production has been equalized, right? But the Marines have not, and that might actually kill Byun here. Down 20 Marines, so much more mobility, so much more firepower. Hell, even a Raven being added to the mix. Not that it's really necessary, as GuMiho knows the position that he has. He pounces, and he does take down Byun in Game 1 of this TvT, but it is a best of 3, so let's go right into Game 2.